John, can you believe we've been at this for 1 year?
It's crazy. We spent all of 2025 nailing down the greatest game of all time, and we are at the finishing line. Almost.
Yes. Almost. We are not quite there yet because I want a little bit more time, because if it isn't obvious from how I'm dressed, because I don't dress up like this too often, we're going to try to put some spit and shine on these final ones, dress up for the occasion, and put our best foot forward as much as possible to talk about these. But if you are coming to this video first and have not seen any of the others, there's definitely something to talk about in regards to how this was structured, in that I was not planning for this to be such a big thing. It was just going to be a silly thing on social media that I would do on occasion just to have like entertainment, that sort of thing. And then it just blew up over to GVG because I was like, we can talk about these because people are actually getting into it. And then it just got even bigger from there. And so the structure is haphazard, probably not the best. Definitely leaves out some of your favorites if you're into certain franchises. I had so many people that this final poll spread out to that had no idea what we did before, and they're like, "Why is this missing? Why is this missing?" If you're wondering why something's missing, it didn't make a previous poll because, let's say, you really wanted The Legend of Dragoon on as a greatest of all time list. Well, it did not make the top 10 of the PlayStation 1, so it was just too competitive, and it didn't work out that way. Maybe it would have been better off if we'd done it by year. I don't know. It's such a weird structure. I feel like even going by year, we would have missed stuff.
There's definitely a bunch of years, like 2017, where
there's 1998.
Yeah, there's like 20 games to choose from. You're not gonna please everybody. It's impossible.
Yeah. So we just did the best we could and tried to include as much as possible, to the point that we had 502 different games to choose from, thanks to ties in a few of these. So we just added it in. I did not plan to have such a round, easy number. It's just the way it ended up. And today we're going to be talking about numbers 50 to 26 as we get into the final part. We'll be talking about the top 25 games of all time. I know I asked for the top 10 from everybody, but I decided to go with top 25 to really show what the breadth is, and the way my counting structure is, I'm not set up to count for everybody's top 25. So I just had to go by top 10, and that's how it all just works out. So again, haphazard operation. I did my best. This is what we ended up with. And believe it or not, John, we ended up with 4,506 votes.
Whoa. There's a lot of votes.
Yes, that we finally beat the GameCube's limit, and I gave this 2 weeks to ensure that, but we did beat GameCube within a week.
Take that, so GameCube. That. Finally. I mean, it feels right that the overall best game should surpass one little purple box.
Yeah. I was also promoting the hell out of this, trying to get as many, because there's all those it's all those Nintendo fans screwing things up and whatnot. So I just wanted to make sure to get as wide of a pool as possible. Encourage my friends to spread it as far as they could. So we'll see what ultimately ends up happening. And I apologize for if my voice sounds a little weird. I'm actually getting over a cold, which is just unfortunate timing with all this. But before we get into this top 20, this number 50 to 26, there are actually only 9 games that received not a single vote.
Whoa. Out of all of 500 plus games that were there.
Yeah, out of all 502 games, only 9 games didn't receive a single vote.
That's nuts. So can we know those 9?
I went through and actually figured out what those 9 were. So, I don't need to guess all of them, just any guess of what might have not gotten any votes.
I'd have to memorize the entire 500 game list, I think. I really don't know. I'm going to imagine it's going to be stuff from the earlier end, because we started off by doing like DOS and Atari. So I'd imagine they come from that kind of era, but specifics I'm not sure.
All right. Our 9 games that received no votes. Bonk's Adventure.
Poor Bonk.
Bonk's Revenge, I think, got all the attention.
Yeah.
Here's an interesting one. Fast Fusion.
Oh, yeah. It's good, but I don't think it's an all-timer. It's not like a game of all-time candidate.
Mm-hmm. Mario Kart Arcade GP DX. GP got it. DX did not.
It's very cool that GP is someone's favorite game. That's kind of rad.
Mm-hmm. Power Strike 2. Shinobi for the Master System.
Yeah, Revenge and Shinobi 3 always get the flowers.
Mm-hmm. Here's where it gets really interesting to me. Sonic Chaos.
Oh, okay. That's kind of interesting. I feel like every Sonic game is someone's favorite out there.
Mm-hmm. I would have thought. Sonic Drift 2.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah, a little bit. Super Mario Run.
Yeah, I think it would have to be very mobile, fixated for that to be your favorite game, and that's not really our audience.
Mm-hmm. And finally, Super Smash Flash.
Oh, that is interesting. I think every game you mentioned I can understand. Not that one so much. I feel like that's probably.
I think the
few
sequel to
people's.
Super Smash Flash is regarded way better.
Yeah, that's probably it.
So yeah, those are the 9 games that didn't receive a single vote, but we're not going to focus on the rest of that. Instead, we're going to move on to our first half of our top 50, going from 50 to 26. And real quick before we get into that, John, let's go ahead and give our own personal top 10s real quick, because
Sure.
people are often curious about that. So here's what I voted on as my top 10, and I went with the games that I'm not going to go into explanation. I'm just going to say as a blanket statement, the one that felt like they impacted me the most, like they left the biggest impression on me. So from 1 to 10, Super Mario Brothers 3, Final Fantasy 9, Metroid Dread, Dragon Quest 11, Resident Evil 4, Ghost Trick Phantom Detective, Castlevania Symphony of the Night, Chrono Trigger, Half-Life 2, and Xenoblade Chronicles.
We've got some overlap there, Derek. This was a very hard top 10 to make because we both love so many games. So if we made this again, I'm sure it'd be a completely different list. But I went with number 10, Ghost Trick, number 9, Celeste, number 8, Half-Life 2, number 7, Halo 3, number 6, Chrono Trigger, number 5, Shadow of the Colossus, number 4, Bloodborne, number 3, Resident Evil 4, number 2, Tetris, and number 1, Breath of the Wild. So I think half of that was probably the same.
About.
Yeah.
So it would be interesting to see what ends up from all of those. So, all right, let's get to it with our top 50. So at number 50, do you have any guess? And John, I just realized I should probably link you.
Oh, the entire document, because that way I can scroll through 500 and just throw a dart at one of them. Yeah.
And try to get that. So let me actually send that over to you real quick. So you have that.
So what am I going to throw a dart at for the 50th best game ever?
And it is at number 50 with 1,302 points.
Damn, okay. Having the list, you think it would make it easier. It doesn't. There's so many games here.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to go with Crash Bandicoot 3 Warped.
Okay. Correct genre, wrong game.
Okay.
Number 50, Donkey Kong Country 2 Diddy's Kong Quest.
Oh. Yeah, I'm happy to get the genre right. That's awesome. It'd be interesting to see if any other DKC games emerge in the top 50, because for the longest time, this was seen as like the pinnacle of Donkey Kong Country. And I think it still is to a lot of people. It's a bunch of people's favorite game ever, apparently. And it really took the original and just skyrocketed its variety. Because the first game, as great as it is, I think it gets a little... When you look back on the DKC series, it's a little bit formulaic in its setting. Like you got jungle and all that. DKC 2 really goes out there with really interesting themes, and both Diddy and Dixie have a lot more to them than DK did. Especially Dixie, she's so fun to control.
Oh, I loved Dixie when I first played it. She's just so much fun to play. I preferred her. I loved having that control with the glide.
Yeah.
It just seemed like such a great pairing. It was just just a great natural expansion and just kind of a joy to play. Like they really refined what Donkey Kong Country was all about.
Yeah.
Like they got a nice base with the original, but then they just went crazy with DKC2.
And it's daring to not have DK at all in a Donkey Kong game. Like he's the you've got to rescue him in this one. He's the damsel. You've got to rescue DK. And then when that was for DKC3 as well. They just got rid of the character that built this entire series up, which is a very daring move. And I think it made it for the better though.
Yeah, holding true to that Donkey Kong Jr. legacy for that sequel.
I guess so.
Yeah. All right, we're going to be getting through these rather quickly because we only have so much time. So let's go ahead and jump over to number 49, beating out DKC2 by 48 points.
Man,
Any guesses, John?
If DKC2 is where we're starting, the bar's pretty high already. So I will go with... I'm not going to get any of these right. I'll go with GoldenEye at number 49.
GoldenEye at number 49. All right. Wrong genre.
Okay.
Wrong system, just wrong everything. At number 49, The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess.
Whoa, okay. There's going to be a lot more Zelda on this list. Twilight Princess, it gets done bad a lot these days. I've always quite liked it. I've had a bit of a roller coaster reputation of it, but these days I really like what it does. It's like it definitely plays to Ocarina's formula, but there's a lot of personality in there. Midna's awesome, the music's awesome, and some of those dungeon designs are some of the coolest in the series. Like we're talking the mansion where you go around and make soup. We're talking going to back in time to the Temple of Time. There's lots of really cool parts of Twilight Princess.
It has a great vibe to it. It really does capture that vibe. It does feel like a darker Zelda too. Overall, there's a real menace to a lot of the goings on there, but it's still not afraid to get silly. But again, just to have that sort of darker vibe or that more mature vibe that Nintendo was clearly going for. We got Sexy Tingle in this.
Exactly.
Like, how can you not enjoy that? But yeah, no, it's one of those that it really drives you in. It is sort of like the adult Link that you think of, because I love the design. I love the chainmail underneath his typical tunic. It gives it a harder edge. It's a very enjoyable game. The design of Wolf Link is fantastic. All the praise to Midna. And I wish Zelda herself was a little bit more impactful in this game. She's kind of a nothing factor for most of it. But
both Zelda and Ganondorf are very much, they show up at the end, and that's kind of it.
Yeah, this is Midna's story through and through, without a doubt.
This game asked the question, how do you make the hookshot cooler? And the answer was, give them two of them. And it was so cool.
Do that job. So yeah, Twilight Princess, still a very enjoyable time. Some of the best dungeons in the series. So hard not to enjoy that one. So yeah, Twilight Princess at number 49. So let's go ahead and get to number 48, beating out Twilight Princess by 2 points.
God, how much Nintendo are we getting here?
4,500 votes, and that's how close we're getting with these already.
Yeah, God. So far it's all Nintendo. That's only 2 games. I'm going to go with The Sims. The Sims.
The Sims. All right. At number 48, it is not The Sims. Instead, I'm trying to think of a pun. I don't have one. Instead, it's Mother 3.
Oh, okay. I thought this would be a lot higher than this.
I think its Japanese exclusivity might be something that holds it back a little bit, because
it's a loud game. Like the community's very loud about it, but it probably is a very small amount that've actually played it. But it is God wonderful. Earthbound, which I think a lot more of us have played, is already brilliant. And Mother 3 it's more impactful in a lot of ways. It's a lot more advanced, a lot more mature. Just, it does really great things while keeping that aesthetic and personality that Earthbound pulled off so well. I've given up hope that they're ever going to release it. I don't see why they would at this point. They've had several great opportunities to, because they were building up with like Earthbound Beginnings and making Earthbound a big part of Virtual Console. I don't think it's going to happen. I think that the time to localize Earthbound was a long time ago. Mother 3, I should say. So if you want to play it, just play the fan translation.
Yeah, that's just how it is going to go. I'm going to be playing it rather soon. I've not played it yet, but I know it's impactful. I've seen the graphics. It's amazing how much of a step up in personality they are compared to even Earthbound.
Yeah.
Because Earthbound looks fine, but it doesn't. There's something about the aesthetic of Mother 3 that just really shines. And I've heard the character work is so much better than what Earthbound accomplishes. I've actually been playing through Earthbound myself at the moment, and I just arrived in Summers. So I'm about halfway through the game, I think. But again, I like how the different swerves. Like it feels like it has a certain status quo that's going to follow, and it starts shifting it up a lot and changing what you'd expect. And I assume Mother 3 acts the same way, where you think it's going to go one way, and then it changes it up because the games just keep getting better. Because man, Earthbound is such a leaps and bounds better than Earthbound Beginnings.
Oh, for sure. Earthbound very much established the Pokemon formula, I feel, like going from town to town, solving the problems, going to the next town. If you put Pokemon battles in there, it would be the same formula. And then Mother 3, I think, goes way further in being its own thing. You get some really fantastic character work, a lot more exciting locations. It is one of the best games of all time. It very rightfully deserves to be here.
Yeah, if only more people could actually play it with a proper release.
Yeah,
but still impressive for a Japanese exclusive, ostensibly.
100%.
All right, let's get to number 47, beating out Mother 3 by 6 points.
Gosh, I'm not going to get any of these. I'm just going to shout out a name without even thinking. Crazy Taxi. Crazy Taxi.
Well, you got the color right.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
Because number 47 is Persona 4/Golden.
Okay. All right.
Best I got.
Yeah. Sure. What fantastic game though. This is my favorite Persona. I think usually the one you play first is the one you're closest to, and that's definitely how I feel with Persona 4. I love Inaba, that small town vibe. I love the cast of characters. And it holds up incredibly well. If you play that modern version, it's getting a remake, but it doesn't need one. You play that modern version on PC or Switch or PS5 or whatever, it still holds up really great. And I think that small town vibe makes you want to be close with everybody. It can get a bit overwhelming with all those social links in some other Persona games, but this one, because it's all so tightly knit, I feel like it works really well. So I'm happy to see it here.
It's the one I felt like the most like I was actually in school when I played Persona 4. Because Persona 3, it was just sort of, I don't know, whatever. It didn't really click with me in the same way as I was going to school was just a thing. And Persona 5 was so focused on like the social aspect and the building up my thieving skills. I didn't think about the school aspect. But Persona 4 really did feel like those days of going to just a small town school and, just finding something to do. Honestly, it reminded me of college life because I went to such a far off college. I had nothing to do in it.
Yeah.
So.
We are going to see all Personas on this list. I have zero doubt about that. When I say all, I mean 3, 4, 5, not all.
Yeah, unfortunately, 1 and 2 did not make it. So that's the way it goes. All right, let's continue on to our number 46 game of all time, beating out Persona 4 by 29 points.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Uncharted 2.
Uncharted 2. It is not Uncharted 2. Instead, it is Fallout New Vegas.
Oh, okay. So that's changed my expectations a little bit because we started off very Nintendo heavy, and I think even Persona has like Nintendo adjacent. So this is as far from Nintendo as you can get, really. New Vegas. Mm-hmm. But it's absolutely brilliant. I remember playing Fallout 3, and I liked it, but it didn't really click. And New Vegas just went that extra mile to be more interesting. The characters are way more interesting. So is the setting. So when I played 3, I felt like it was very much Oblivion with guns, kind of. But
right.
New Vegas just had such fantastic character work that really set it apart from 3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've only played a little bit of Fallout 3. Like I kind of got, I don't know, done with it, I guess is the best way to put it. I just sort of stopped. So because of that, I never picked up New Vegas because I'm like, well, 3 didn't click with me. I don't want to spend money on New Vegas and then not pick it up. But it's always been on my Steam wish list. It gets so cheap anymore. You can play this game for like $5 on a Steam sale so easily.
Yeah.
And everything I've heard about it is that it's just fantastic. Like some of the best writing in Fallout. that a lot of old school fans say captures the intent and feeling of the first two Fallout games, because Fallout 3 is a very different beast from Fallout 1 and 2.
Totally. Yeah. Both in gameplay and in writing and location. Everything's different, really.
Mm-hmm. So it sort of rides that line very well. I'm curious how it all pulls it all off, but I think it's notable that New Vegas is the only Fallout 2 have made our top 10 lists.
That's true. Yeah.
So, yeah. Cool to see it make it up here. I was like happy to see what was there. But yeah, let's continue on and see what our number 45 game of all time is, beating out New Vegas by 12 points. No, 11 points. Excuse me.
Okay. I'm going to go with an arcade classic. We're going to go with Miss Pac-Man.
Miss Pac-Man. Unfortunately, we are not arcade, but I guess you can think of Pac-Man if you go like this, because it's on the DS. Phoenix... Open and close the clamshell. I don't know. Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, Trials and Tribulations.
It's the biggest stretch of it's kind of close that you could possibly give me.
I'm trying to encourage you.
Yeah. No, that's a really cool one though. Did we have any more Phoenix Wright games that made it into the top 10?
No, this is the only one.
Oh,
no Professor Layton made it. No other Phoenix Wright made it. This is the only one.
Man. And this really was a cultural milestone. When this game came out, it felt like it changed people's tastes in many ways. After playing, a visual novel, I guess you can kind of call it, a lot of people sort of gave other visual novels a chance. And like a lot of this went viral too. Like Objection is still something that's used in like TikToks and Instagram Reels to this day. It's gone beyond just the niche, and it's become something that's kind of mainstream. Which is crazy for a genre like this. And without it, I don't think we wouldn't have had like Famicom Detective Club come back. We wouldn't have had like Doki Doki Literature Club become as big as it was. It's really influential.
It had that perfect level of interaction along with visual novel, where it feels like you're doing something instead of just reading, even though you are just mostly reading and pay attention to context clues. And then you get the wonderful characters. And if this is such a great culmination of what came before, where you just have the most consistent cases in the series, leading to a wonderful finale that pays off all the things you've done up to that point. It changes up the formula in certain cases, which is always nice to see them sort of change things up, and while also just feeling like a continuation. Like, this is just a solid, good, all-around Ace Attorney. And I can understand why I made it, because it is just like, you think good Ace Attorney game, you kind of go to Trials and Tribulations. And I know Greatest Attorney gets a lot of praise, as does Ace Attorney Investigations 2. But I think this is sort of like the base level. Everybody's played this one.
It's the iconic one, yeah. Not necessarily the greatest, but it's the one that most of us are familiar with. Mm-hmm.
And as far as the main series, I think the one that's still they're trying to live up to.
Yeah, totally.
In a lot of ways. So, yep. All right, let's get to number 44. Beating out Ace Attorney Trials and Tribulations by 7 points. Again, single votes could have changed out things dramatically. We had, 4,500. I want to just emphasize that as how close this ended up being, despite that huge number of votes.
I'll go with Fire Emblem Awakening for this one.
Okay. Question for you after this one, by the way.
Sure.
Do you want me to start giving you a clue of, since you do have the thing there, to help you narrow it down and say what letter it starts with?
Yeah, let's do that. But regardless, we're locking in Fire Emblem Awakening for this one, because
Fire Emblem Awakening.
I have a good feeling about this.
Okay. I got no silly pun for this one to say you're wrong, because they have no feet. So this one is like you're on. I don't know what. It's dumb. At number 44. Mario Kart 8 / Deluxe.
Okay. I mean, it is absolutely wonderful. Before Mario Kart 8, I feel like Mario Kart was never like a system showcase. It was something you always picked up, but it wasn't like impressive. When you saw Mario Kart 8 for the first time, though, that lighting rivaled any other game in that industry at that point, and it was doing it on the Wii U. And the lighting is still absolutely gorgeous, but the fidelity and just how cool it was with the anti-grav stuff, it turned heads It made some people pick up a Wii U, not that many, but it was cool enough to stand for another console and end up selling like what 60 million or something crazy.
Oh, over half of everybody that owns a Switch has Mario Kart 8. That's ridiculous.
Yeah,
that is incredible to think about.
Right, like we said before, that I don't think either of us personally would put like a Mario Party or a Mario Kart in the top 10. Not because they're not fantastic, just because they're like a known quantity. But there's a lot of love for being a known quantity. Everyone's played it. Everyone's got good memories with it, and so I can understand why it would make it this far.
I think the track design is also some of the best in the series, because you can take something as basic as a Mario Kart Advance track and turn it into something unrecognizable thanks to the anti-grav gimmick.
Yeah,
and that can't be overstated. Like like what Cheese Land looks like now, what Ribbon Road looks like now, what just some even more basic courses where they just raise up one section. I forget what that course is called, but you just raise up one section and that just makes it feel different. Yeah. It really does just feel unique and fun and fresh, I think is the best way to put it. It made everything feel fresh for Mario Kart.
And with reflection, I feel like it's only really the Mario Kart 64 that as battle mode that gets talked about. 8 Deluxes is really good. You get some fantastic modes. Renegade Roundup's still like one of my favorite ones. There's some great maps in there too. It's just an all-around package.
It's the last remnant of what, Woohoo Island? Is it Woohoo Island?
Yeah, Woohoo Island's in the Woohoo. It's like the town, the square.
The town
Woohoo
section,
yeah.
So, yeah. Mario Kart 8 at number 44. So let's move on to our number 43 game of all time, beating out Mario Kart 8 Deluxe by big jump this time, 94 points. And as your clue, John, this begins with an M.
An M. There's a lot of Mario that begins with M.
Does not narrow it down in that case, that's for sure.
All right. God, there's a lot of there's so many video games beginning with M. You got Metal Gear, you got Mario, you got Mega Man, Metroid. This isn't narrowing anything down. Regardless, though, I'm gonna go with Marvel's Spider-Man for PlayStation 4.
All right, at number 43, not Spider-Man, but we do have a Spider Ball, Metroid Dread.
Oh. You know, I struggle so hard to rank my Metroid games, but at several points in time, I think this has been my favorite one. It's so good.
I think it just generally is my favorite one at this point. I've replayed a bunch of them, and this is such a dream to play. It is so smooth. It is so fun. I've talked about it so many times where it just it plays like butter in my hands. I just enjoy it so much. The story, the bosses, the vibe of Samus, the little just the callbacks to all the previous games in the series, the way it doesn't reuse certain elements that have been overused at certain points and actually bring in fresh elements that have not been seen in a while. It just works so well, and it makes you really excited for what the heck they might do for Metroid 6, like what comes after this. It is just I think just overall. It just plays better than Super Metroid at this point. I know Super Metroid is always raised up as the top, but personally, I just prefer Dread, and I think it's just such a dream to play.
Super's still very good at making the world feel big. There's points in Super where it doesn't point you where to go, and you've got to figure it out. Like sometimes you just got to cross the entire world. But Dread is very good at giving you this free flow movement without telling you where to go, which the GBA games didn't do. Like both Fusion especially, but Zero Mission also went, hey, go to this dot over here. Dread doesn't do that, but it's still quite linear. It doesn't feel like it. You're going through this world, unraveling its web, and it feels like you always know where to go, but it's never telling you, nor is it just a straight path. It's such elegant design. And then you've got just these peak series moments where it's culminating these things they've been building up. I don't want to spoil some of the coolest moments, but there's a really cool Samus moment. Several cool Samus moments, actually. It really does serve as delivering on a premise which had been going on for over a decade at that point. And it's so rare to land that enthusiasm, but they do it, and it's it's tremendous. It's one of the best games on Switch. It's one of the best games ever.
Oh yeah, agreed. And I personally think it presents Samus in a very different way in that it's the first time it feels like she's constantly on the back foot, where the game's constantly telling you, you're not good enough to fight this guy.
Yeah.
He is going to kick your ass. You just need to escape the planet. You don't want to fight him. You just need to get out of here. And that is not something you hear about. It's usually like, help us save this thing, or we need you to take out this target, or blow up this planet, or whatever. Not so in this case. It's just, no, you need to run.
Yeah, it's the reverse from what it always is. Like you're not going from the top of the planet to the core. You're going from the core to the top. It's just flipped everything. Yeah, Samus has to survive, and it does that so well.
Yeah, absolutely. Love it to death. Would have loved it to make the top 25, but I will take the top 50.
Yeah.
So there we are. All right, let's move on to our number 42 game of all time, beating out Metroid Dread by 8 points. Ooh. And your clue. It starts with a P.
A P, okay. Oh, I feel like every letter's just gonna give me a lot of horrible things to choose from. Because we've got Panzer Dragoon, Paper Mario, more Persona, a lot of Pokemon, Portal, Prince of Persia. I'm gonna go with Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. We're gonna go back-to-back Metroidvanias.
Oh, okay. Going with a Metroidvania double pack. All right. At number 42... Well, your heart was in the right place, John, but unfortunately you take the silver because it's Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver.
Oh man, yeah, these they're fantastic. Gen 2 has such a special place in my heart. There's so many cool things you can know back to the original as well, but the remake just does incredibly well. And it was coming off the backbone of Diamond and Pearl, which they're good games, but they have some fundamental problems to them. And Heart Gold and Soul Silver just ironed everything out. It took Gen 4's formula and made it fantastic. You get any Pokemon that can follow you around. Like there's so much love and care put into this one. The remixes are brilliant, and it feels like it made the best remake they could out of what they had.
Mm. It feels like a step forward. Like it felt like such a big deal because, everybody remembers Pokemon Yellow and having the Pikachu follow behind you. That felt special. To have that Pokemon behind you. So to be able to do that with any Pokemon that was just in the first spot following after you, and then they have the little Poke Walker, which I got obsessed with because you get extra items and you can get extra just stuff through there. I think you can hatch eggs or something like that. It just felt like such a natural extension, and just going through the world again, going through Kanto again. Like there's a lot of special memories a lot of people have with Gold and Silver, and to have them enhanced with Heart Gold and Soul Silver, like it doesn't take away anything. I think like it only just adds to the experience of Gold and Silver. Because going back and playing the originals, Gold and Silver suffer from level jumps where all of a sudden you have to grind a bunch.
That milk tank near the beginning, yeah. And it's not completely solved, but I don't think they needed to solve it completely. That's kind of part of the experience, but they make it nicer. Mm-hmm. And because Kanto is part of the original, it also serves as a kind of a remake of Kanto as well. So seeing that in DS fidelity after seeing it in GBA fidelity was really interesting. They went above and beyond with this one, and it's still the best remake they've done. I know some people love the Gen 3 remakes as well, but this is my favorite one.
I think, as Mooberry Muffin points out, it includes all the content from Crystal. There's so many times when we've gotten remakes where they don't include the stuff from the third game.
Like the Gen 4 remakes.
Like the Gen 4 remakes, or even Gen 3. Yeah. Does not have that stuff. Has its own original stuff, but doesn't have the original stuff. So it feels like the definitive version in that way. If you're looking for the content complete or whatever from it.
Yeah.
But yeah, wonderful looking. Solves the speed problem that that Diamond and Pearl suffered from. Just felt like a fun game to play. So yeah. Pokemon Heart Gold, Soul Silver feels pretty fitting at 42. So let's continue on and see what beat Pokemon by 7 points to reach number 41. And your clue, John, is that it starts with a B.
A B. Not that many games come to mind that start with B. Oh, there's a few, actually. Bayonetta, Beyond Good and Evil, Bioshock, Bomberman. It's a smaller category. You also got like Banjo-Kazooie and Baldur's Gate. Oh, Oh dear, this is actually quite hard. There's a few in there which I think are probably on the list. Like I think Bayonetta 2 might be here. I think Batman Arkham City might be here, and Banjo-Kazooie might be here, and Baldur's Gate. Oh god, there's all of them. I'll go with Batman Arkham City.
At number 41, it is not Batman. Instead, you're looking for a Bear Man because it's Banjo-Kazooie.
I was very close to saying Banjo. Okay, yeah. What else can you say about Banjo that we haven't said already? It's such a cool game. It's falling off Mario 64, and there's clear influence from Mario 64 everywhere. But there was no Mario 64 2. And I think Banjo kind of stepped in the shoes of Mario and filled them with an ambitious follow-up. Because the worlds, they're bigger. There's more mechanics in here. Like you can ride on Kazooie's legs, you can fly. There's a lot more transformations and things. Like it goes beyond Mario 64's moveset. But it's also quite circumstantial. In Mario 64, you have all your moves all the time. This one tailors its levels to them. And I think it creates some really cool and different worlds to Mario 64. And there's always a debate about which one's better. And I think it just comes down to mood. What mood are you in at that point? 'Cause they're both just phenomenal games.
Yeah, and I think an understated part about Banjo-Kazooie is that it is character. Like, there's so many memorable characters in Banjo-Kazooie, and I got Koopa the Quick out of Super Mario 64, and a couple bosses and stuff like that, but it's not like characters. You don't have the hippo, the clam, all the, Mumbo, all these other characters that pop up throughout Banjo, and make them so memorable, and having Grunty taunt you as you go through, having you don't have somebody just crap talking her the entire time like her sister does throughout Banjo-Kazooie, for clues and whatnot. There's something very personable about Banjo-Kazooie in the way that in a lot of ways, you had Super Mario World on SNES, and then you got Donkey Kong to have sort of a platformer with attitude, and Banjo-Kazooie is sort of that same answer, where it's sort of like the platformer with attitude on the N64, but it's not like a cool attitude. It's more like I don't even know what to call it. Right,
because you look at Banjo, you don't think, man, he's cool.
No,
but there's a
he's not coming out with a boombox and tossing a bomb at his grandfather, that sort of thing. That's not cool. Well, that's cool, I should say, but Banjo, no, not cool.
Yeah, but without
more
Rare,
snark, I guess.
The N64 would not be what it was, and that comes down to like Banjo and GoldenEye, and I think those are the big two. There's a bunch of others as well though, it would be a lot worse in this industry without Rare in that age.
For sure. So yeah, Banjo-Kazooie at number 41. All right, let's get to number 40, which beat out Banjo-Kazooie by 36 points, I want to say. I'm a little iffy on that, but it's fine. It's close enough. So beat out by 36 points, and it starts with the letter R.
Okay. Let's find R. So there's a few R franchises there. Rayman, Resident Evil, Red Dead Redemption. It's a smaller category, though, so where could I go wrong? We're talking most Resident Evils are there. There's a few missing. Only one Rayman, though, with Origins. I will go with... let's go with Rayman Origins. It's probably going to be one of the Resident Evils, though, but Rayman Origins. Yeah. Oh, and Ratchet and Clanks, I miss those as well, but I'm sticking with Rayman.
All right. At number 40, you should have gone with your gut that it was one of the Resident Evils. Any guess on which Resident Evil it is? God,
no. we're still quite low back, and a lot of them deserve to be really high up. I'll go with 7.
At number 40, it's Resident Evil 4.
What, the original?
The original.
Oh, okay. I had that held aside for the top 25, top 10 perhaps.
Yeah, it did not make it. We were surprised by this before because it struggled to make the GameCube list, I believe.
It did. God.
People
there's
lost appreciation for Resident Evil 4.
Yeah. There's probably going to be another Resident Evil, but it makes me kind of doubt that because original 4, I think, is as good as it gets. I think it's one of the greatest games of all time. It was
agreed.
I think it's like number 2 on my list or something. It's just phenomenal.
Perfectly paced. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's so perfectly paced. The mechanics are incredible. The locations are miraculous. And I think the way that Mercenaries just kept the replay value going forever, and then you have all those like side things to unlock, like the giant ray gun and a bunch of other crazy bits. And it's great on so many platforms. Like whether you play it on the GameCube or the Wii with its wonderful controls, or VR, they're all fantastic versions. Yeah, I think that this is just Video Game Hall of Fame. I'm glad that it's here, but I thought it'd be a lot higher than this.
Yeah, I was hoping it'd be a lot higher as well. Just because I think it is so much fun to play. It is so influential because it basically popularized that that style of gameplay, that behind the shoulder aspect of how you do combat and whatnot, and have that extra sort of ability to aim. You have that better accuracy when it comes to like the laser sight and whatnot. And then I think this game is amazingly paced for as long. It's still pretty lengthy, but I think it's amazingly paced because the first time I got it, I only rented it. But I rented it for a weekend and played it just nonstop without the weekend. I could not put it down. It was just that engrossing. In just having those different areas, and in retrospect, you can look through and have some weaker areas, but still, to go from the village to the castle to the military outposts and whatnot, just kept me engaged the entire way through with interesting villains and scenarios and whatever else is happening. Just having this goofy action tone the entire way through. It is engaging and so much fun, and I personally, obviously, would put this way higher, but at least it's in the top 50.
Yeah, I think you are right. There are weaker parts. Like the village and the castle are amazing, and then you get to the military outpost, and I think that part thrives as a power trip. Like all Resident Evils do, you start off really weak and vulnerable, and then you get really powerful weapons. You can just start blasting everything. And there's points there where you've got the helicopter with its giant Gatling gun. There's points in that part which are it's just nice to take down these enemies that you struggled against in the past, but it's not as creepy as it was. And I think the creep factor was a huge part of why the castle and the village was so cool.
Yeah, because they were able to, like, what was it called? Salazar's like right hand men that came after you, and that was definitely a memorable sequence of avoiding them, where you still got a bit of the scares in there. So it was a nice mix, and definitely the revitalization that Resident Evil needed at that point. So I think it's fantastic. If you've not played it somehow, fix that. Even if you're not that into horror, I don't think it's that scary.
No,
that you
and it's on
can't
everything.
Play this.
Even though the remake's out, the original is still on everything.
Yeah, I'd call the remake probably scarier because it goes for a much more consistent, like heavier tone. Still has its comedy elements, but not as much as
the original's far more cheesy. Yeah.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, let's get to our number 39 game of all time. Beating out Resident Evil 4 by 15 points.
Okay.
And your clue is that it starts with an E.
An E. All right. What begins with E? Not that many games. Is it just Earthbound and Elden Ring?
Is that all we got from the E section?
I think that's all we have. And I wish I could just easily say which it is, because this is the first time I've had next to no choice.
Oh yeah, you have a 50-50 shot with this one.
Yeah.
Dang.
All right. Oh no, this is actually harder than the previous one, because they're both such gargantuan games. I'm going to go with Elden Ring.
Going with Elden Ring at number 39. Well, John.
Yeah.
You flipped that coin.
Wrong.
And you got it wrong. It's Earthbound.
Yeah, I thought I would. Oh, man. Yeah.
Yep. Earthbound at number 39.
Yeah. Man, at least I know if E comes up again. I know which game it is.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but Earthbound's so good. I didn't play this until the Wii U Virtual Console version came out. And I loved it so much. My wife was watching me play, and she could just see how engrossed I was. And for Christmas that year, she ended up getting me the Super Nintendo cartridge, which has gone way up in value now. It was still pretty pricey then, but it's a lot cheaper than it was. And I loved this game so much. I put all my time into it, and you can see where it influenced a lot of other RPGs. You can see where Undertale came from. You can see where Pokemon came from. But it's also got mechanics which we haven't really seen in other franchises. One thing I love is the rolling health system, where you can get hit by a really powerful attack, and your health starts rolling down, but your go continues. So as long as you can get like that killing blow in before your health reaches 0, you can still survive. That's a brilliant mechanic, and I can't think of another franchise that has done it.
I can't either. That actually led to a really memorable part for me because the last time I played it, I was fighting the clumsy robot in Monotoli Tower, and the thing just kept kicking my butt. I just could not do anything against it. So eventually it kills the rest of the party. It's down to just Ness. It hits me with one of those killer attacks, and I'm like, well, I'm probably going to lose, so I'm just going to just jam the A button as fast as I can and just hit it as quick as I can. Maybe it'll die. And it hits me with one of those rocket attacks for like 300 damage, so I'm going to die.
Yeah.
And the health is rolling down, counting down. And I actually kill it with 9 HP left.
Jesus, yeah.
That's like, oh, okay, survived.
Yeah.
Very memorable moment. Not maybe I don't know if the most satisfying way to beat an enemy, but I survived, and that was the.
I think that's pretty
part.
damn satisfying. Yeah.
Yeah.
The game has so many cool moments though, and the soundtrack it's one of the best. It's one of the weirdest soundtracks, but it's also got some of the coolest songs in all of video games. And I also love just how wacky it gets. Because it has that formulaic approach of going from town to town to town. But some of them are just weird, like the town that's all blue. You've got NPCs that are self-aware, like one of them saying like they're testing Earthbound 2 or something like that. I don't feel like we really had modern RPGs in that era. Because a lot of them were very, going back to medieval times. This was one where you eat burgers to heal, you use baseball bats to attack, which it was really uncommon then.
Yeah. Like I'm looking up when the original Shin Megami Tensei came out. I think that's the only other one I can think of that was sort of modern, but that's post-apocalyptic, so that's almost different in itself.
Yeah.
So it's not quite the same way where it's not in the current era. And, just all the different enemies you face and how wacky they can get and just the situations there. It was something I tried out way before I had gotten more used to RPGs from before Final Fantasy VII, because I was like, why can't I see my character? I want to see my character attack. That's much more satisfying than just having the screen light up in different ways. But now I can appreciate how that goes about and what it does with that aspect and how you get better character portraits with it, and you get so much personality out of those enemy portraits and what you're fighting.
And live audiences discussing the mechanic where if an enemy's weaker than you, like way under leveled, and the game knows you're going to win, you just win. It doesn't waste your time. Yeah,
that's great. It has the inventory system that is not the greatest, where each character is going to hold too many things, so that can definitely lead to some issues. But as far as money wise, you don't have to grind for money. Like I am flush with cash.
Yeah. It's also really funny in a lot of ways. Like the writing's clearly funny, but there's points where like, you get a bike, but then you get another party member almost immediately, and so you can't use that bike anymore. It's just a funny part of the game. It's just sort of taunting you with this fast travel that you can't have.
And even when you do get like the teleport, like you have to have this huge running start.
Yeah.
It's like it can explode if you screw up. So it's like its own take on the whole like. Try to teleport out of a dungeon in Dragon Quest and you just bonk your head.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I don't know if I'm sold enough for it to be one of my favorite RPGs of all time, but I can appreciate what it does, and I am enjoying my playthrough of it. So that's where I'm kind of at right now for it. So, yeah. All right. Let's continue on to our number 38 game of all time, beating out Earthbound by 9 points. Oh, yeah. And if you want your clue, sorry, it begins with the letter N.
N. Okay. All right. There aren't that many N's. We got Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour in N's. Could be that. We got Nintendo Land, Nier Automata, New Super Mario Brothers, the first one, Nights into Dreams, Ninja Gaiden Black. There's a few good ones there. Mm-hmm. I feel like out of all of those, I think Nier Automata is the most likely to get into to a top 50. I'm not so sure about the other ones.
All right. At number 38, you did it, John. Nier Automata.
Got one. When the competition is New Super Mario Brothers, you can finally get one. God, when I first played this, I didn't actually get what the hype was about. I finished my first playthrough. I thought that was fine. I don't see why it's being lauded as this wonderful, genre-bending game. Then you play again, and the second playthrough, I think you still don't quite get it. But then you get to the next one, and then there's a title sequence of like the game's title in like the fourth or third playthrough. It's like, okay, this is where it's actually just getting started. So it's kind of a game where you have to get through fine moments to get to mind-blowing moments, and those fine moments are necessary to get there. And you start to really appreciate it. That slow burn is necessary. And throughout that slow burn, you get so many iconic parts that happen. The music is incredible. And it's one of those rare games that just that wouldn't exist well in another medium. Because there's an anime of this game, but I don't think it succeeds because you don't have that game element, and especially the connectivity. That final moment really hits hard because it's a video game.
Oh yeah. And it pulls a lot of that those concepts from Nier and essentially even Drakengard on how it handles stuff. Like it's just a trick that Yoko Taro has pulled time and time again, but it always works because he finds a different way of handling it each time. And Automata, I'm very split between whether I like Automata or the original more as far as how it makes that twist. But I mean, I will say this is that the gameplay of Automata is way better. That combat is a lot of fun. It is a blast to play as I don't think it's a spoiler to say the three characters.
Yeah.
It's interesting to play as each of them. They each have their own unique aspects to them. And as you get through it, you just want to see more and more. And because it is very much a slow burn where you're like, okay, I'm here. I don't quite understand what's going on. It seems kind of basic. It's whatever. And then those layers keep getting peeled back and you see more and more. And you're like, oh, there's something going on here. And especially as like there's a way to get even more lore because you upgrade your weapons and they have their own stories attached to them. It gives you even more lore. And there's like, you can really deep dive into this game if you want.
Yeah. In that first playthrough, it's all quite surface level. Like you get to the robot village, and it's there's some strange things going on. But then that second playthrough, you get that other perspective and everything, and a lot more of that story is told, and then it gets a lot of corruption in the later ones. And there's some really hard-hitting moments, and they hit hard because they're interactive. But you can also tell they wanted to make a bullet hell sometimes. Like sometimes it's just a traditional platinum combat, and other times you are in a ship, but also you've got 9S's sections where you're hacking. That's pretty much a bullet hell. There's even some boss battles just firing a whole bunch of bullets everywhere. So that makes the gameplay interesting as well. But it's really the narrative structure that brings it all together, and it's one of the most memorable games I've ever played.
If you haven't played Nier Automata, absolutely try it out. If you have played Nier Automata but haven't played Nier Replicant, you'll like Nier Replicant.
You will.
Like you absolutely will love that game. Trust me on that one. I played the original version and I love that game. That game is, as far as gameplay wise, is mid as hell. but that story and music carries it so far. But Nier Automata at number 38. All right, let's move on to number 37, beating out Automata by 6 points.
And what letter am I working with?
You are working with the letter S. Good luck.
Oh, no, not S again. All right. Okay, let's go.
Narrow down the letter S. Good. Yeah, oh boy.
Yeah, I don't like the letter S. There's any game that starts with Super is here. Most of them are Mario. But there's a lot of supers. All the Sonic games are here. Skies of Arcadia is here. I'm gonna go with the Sonic game. We're gonna go with Sonic Adventure for the Dreamcast here.
All right. At number 37, you're correct that it's a mascot platformer, but it is not Sonic. At number 37, Super Mario Galaxy 2.
Ooh, okay. We haven't seen a whole lot of Mario so far. Galaxy
Not
2,
really.
though, is just wonderful. You can see the influence of Galaxy just this year, because we haven't really celebrated Galaxy that much or Nintendo haven't, I should say, outside of its release. But then this year, we're getting a movie next year. We're getting all those amiibo. We got the storybook. They know how big Galaxy is influentially. It's not like the best-selling Mario, but the influence that it's had in terms of quality and standing the test of time has never wavered. And it's interesting too because that Galaxy doesn't really fit the mold of a sandbox Mario. It's definitely a half step between like 64 and like 3D World. But it's able to tailor its camera and its set pieces to that linear line, but giving you the scope of the whole like space. It doesn't feel linear. It still feels epic and it still feels free flowing, and just like the Galaxy, the gravity mechanics too, like just long jumping off an edge and swirling around the planet. It never stops feeling cool. And I don't know if we're going to discuss Galaxy 1 later, but Galaxy 2 is just so full of ideas that couldn't fit into Galaxy 1. And it's got like its own DNA too. It's more about visiting worlds rather than being in space. So they both sit side by side as just tremendous games. I don't really have a preference. I think they're both great.
Yeah, it's fantastic. You're right about it that leaning more linear than it seems. And they sort of emphasize that more with Super Mario Galaxy 2 because of where the level selection is, because you're just moving the face ship to the actual levels rather than having to find them in a central hub. So it's not that different when you think about it, but it's also is different as like in mentally how you sort of view it. But I think the thing I like about the Galaxy games is that I like platforming challenges, and these games are all about those platforming challenges. Sometimes you get those wide open moments where you get that, but get those. But I think about like those 3D challenges where you're just like the chocolate area, like stuff is moving towards you at a constant pace, and there's holes in them, and you have to find the right timing to jump over obstacles and avoid the pits as you go through, or what have you. I like interesting platforming challenges, and Super Mario Galaxy 2 has them in spades. And
Galaxy 2 is the game that introduced the final challenge, like the final challenge level, which has been a staple of every 3D Mario since. And it's for the better. It makes a really interesting last impression to just put everything you've learned to the test and go beyond what's usually expected of you.
It's something that feels worth shooting for, rather than, oh, I get to say hi to Yoshi, or I get
a different
t-shirt.
Picture in the credits.
Yeah. It's like, it was unlocking Luigi mode was cool, but then you don't really get that much after it from the Galaxy 1. This is definitely a proper, like, oh, cool. This is a final challenge to really test how well I know this game. So
exactly.
Yeah. Good stuff all around. So, yeah. Super Mario Galaxy 2 at number 37. Let's get to number 36, beating out Galaxy 2 by, oh gosh, I got to do some math, 75-ish points.
Well, that's a big gap.
Yep.
Okay.
One of our bigger gaps so far.
What letter are we dealing with this time?
You are working with the letter H. Thank you for reminding me of that. I constantly forget.
Okay. H, huh? All right, let's find that. Okay, there's some juggernauts in the H. Hades, Half-Life, Halo, I think are mostly what we're dealing with here. Hollow Knight as well, maybe. Hollow Knight, definitely. I'll go with Halo. I'll go with Halo 3.
Halo 3. All right. At number 36. Well, you're thinking of heaven. You should be thinking of hell because it's Hades.
Hades. Damn it. Yeah. Hades, I think, has made a lot of people who aren't usually roguelike fans invested, including a lot of people at GVG. I've tried a few roguelikes in my time. Only a couple have really landed. This one, though, I think it's the constant growth that makes it so memorable and makes it feel linear, even though it isn't, because you're constantly going and growing and reinventing as you play. But it affects everything. Like when you finish a playthrough, there's a story to be told. There's things to grow in the hub, and it's just so stylish and fun. I was really hooked on Hades. I'm getting Hades 2, the physical, for Christmas. I'm really excited about that, but I don't know if it'd be able to surpass my memories of the first songs. I'm so fond.
Mm-hmm. I'm the same way because I dabbled in roguelikes in the past, but never fully committed to them.
Mm.
Like if I committed, I probably could have gotten through like Rogue Legacy. I enjoyed Rogue Legacy for what it was, but that's all I really thought about when it came to the roguelike genre, because I felt like it's like, I don't know, it just didn't feel like enjoyable to toss like bang my head against the same thing and have slightly different elements, and it didn't really not much seem to change. It was just you succeeded in getting through that. But when I played Hades that first time and having the narrative elements completely wrap itself around what you were doing and how you succeeded, and having that different dialogue every single time, it was mind-blowing. It was like, how is it adapting to everything I'm doing and everything I'm talking about or everything I've accomplished? It was crazy. And then you get the, true ending for it, and it keeps going. They find ways to make it still go. Yeah. And there's like, you got relationship stuff that with all the different characters that you can work towards and all this stuff. There is so much. I still have not done everything in the original Hades, but I feel satisfied with what I did do. And I have gotten the physical version of Hades 2. My promise to myself was I was going to play it after I'd be able to speak Silk Song. Still not done with Silk Song, but I'm close to the end of Act 2.
Yeah.
I've heard that the story isn't as good as the first Hades, but the gameplay is still as fun.
Yeah. Live audiences talking about everyone being hot in that game. There are some just ridiculously good character designs, and the casting was brilliant. Like, there's some of the best acting in video games were just crammed into these text boxes. They're phenomenal.
Yeah, it just nails everything. I mean, it's there's a reason this is it's a Supergiant, right?
Yeah.
This is the reason that this is their first actual sequel. Usually, move on to just a completely different game, but it makes sense to stick with this.
Totally.
And great to see. I think it's an excellent game. I think it's well deserved at this spot. So Hades at number 36. All right, at number 35, beating out Hades by 27 points ish.
Which alphabetical letter are we dealing with now?
Yes. What game starting with the letter D beat out Hades?
D. We haven't explored a D yet. So we've got Danganronpa, Dark Souls, Daytona, Deus Ex, Devil May Cry, Diddy Kong, Diablo 2, Donkey Kong. Oh, we had a Donkey Kong earlier. Dragon Quest. Oh, God, this is tough.
It got really tough all of a sudden, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. I'll go with Devil May Cry 5.
All right. Number 35. Well, you want to rock with Dante. Instead, we're getting a little disco in here with Disco Elysium.
Man, nice. Back-to-back indies is very cool to see.
Yeah, I'm glad to see the indies doing so well.
Yeah.
They're rising up so high. And Disco Elysium is one I have not played, but I've heard people talk about a ton. Just in the way that how the story crafts around your choices. This feels like a game that it seems like a game where your choices truly do matter to how everything takes place.
It's also just a beautiful game. Like, the art style is absolutely gorgeous. I saw some people in live audience earlier when we're talking about Fallout New Vegas, like saying they want to go back to the isometric style. I feel like this kind of achieves that, but to a different degree. You just get some of the coolest storytelling in video games. And it definitely has that sort of PC feel to it. You can play it on consoles as well, but it's fantastic with a mouse. It's just the ingenuity and how weird it can get sometimes just really drives it forward. It's definitely one of those games you shouldn't know much about going into, because the surprises are really what it's all about. But there's so many cool moments in there.
The only thing I really know about is that you are a disaster cop. Just how much of a disaster cop are you?
Yeah, exactly.
So it seems interesting from that aspect. I'm happy to see it get that recognition. I know this is one people really pushed to be on the list. So to see it do so well after, I think it I don't know if we had to do something special to get Disco Elysium on it. It naturally made it. I can't quite remember, but to see it do so well here is really nice to see. In fact, I think it's rather impressive that it beat out Hades too.
It's very impressive.
Beat out Hades, I should say.
Yeah. Hades, I thought would be one of the the pillar indies. Still got Hollow Knight and Celeste to come, but this is about as high up as it gets.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's move on to our number 34 game of all time, beating out Disco Elysium by 22 points.
All right, what's the letter?
The letter is F.
Okay, that's all the Final Fantasies. Forza Horizon, Frogger. I forgot Frogger made it. That's nice. Fire Emblem as well. Geesh. Mm-hmm. Okay. I will go with Final Fantasy X.
All right, Final Fantasy X. At number 34, I got no pithy comment. It's not Final Fantasy X. It is Fire Emblem Three Houses.
Oh, all right. It'd be nice if another Fire Emblem makes it, because it'd be cool to see what we actually regard as the best Fire Emblem. I think I guessed Awakening a while ago. Three Houses, though, it felt like a complete revelation for the series. It suddenly took over social media. When this game came out, you wouldn't be able to scroll without seeing someone at a tea party. It was a really cool game, and with Shadows of Valentia, we already got to have like that sort of hands-on, behind-the-shoulder, moving around through an environment. Three Houses ran with that though, and made it was a core pillar of the game. The strategy stuff was just part of it. The other part was getting to really get physical relationships with everyone around you, getting to talk to them in person, getting to roam around and explore. It made it all more personable, and it's something they haven't quite followed up yet. But yeah, this was as big as the series got.
Oh yeah, and big indeed. Like there's so much content in this game. There's so much to see and do and experience. And I think it's very interesting to go back to older Fire Emblems, because the social mechanic was such a minor thing where they actually limited you. You could only talk with so many people.
Yeah.
So you had to decide whether you wanted like I think in Path of Radiance you could only have 5 interactions. So you had to choose one guy to be an S rank with, another guy to be a B rank with, and that's about it. You're not getting much else beyond that. So to finally open that up so you can just talk to everybody, see all those interactions, I think that really got to the heart of the matter for a lot of people, where all of a sudden you really do start to care about these characters. They don't fade into the background like a lot of characters do in past Fire Emblem games, where it's just it's not just a really good unit. You care about how they develop and change, and you can even go beyond that with Fire Emblem Three Houses because of how you can Bernadetta, she likes arrows. I don't want her using arrows. She's going to wield an axe. That's what that girl needs. She needs an axe. Give her an axe. So
is the gameplay the best in the series? Probably not.
No,
but I think it's all the surrounding pillars though that just make it really interesting. And all the characters are just so great. And it's also, I think, what also made it explode is everyone has their own story to tell, because you got three houses to choose from, and it almost builds this community of which house did you go for, and then you can bond with certain people. It achieves that sort of split version idea that Pokemon goes for, but instead of trading Pokemon, you're trading experiences. You're trading what happened in your playthrough compared to someone else's. And I think that made it really, really big.
I think very few people played all 3 campaigns.
Yeah,
technically 4. So definitely, you'll get debates about which one's the better, and that's why you have a very, very stark difference between Blue Lions lovers and Red Eagle or Black Eagle.
Yeah.
So yeah, very interesting from that aspect. So yeah, but Fire Emblem Three Houses at number 34. All right, let's go ahead and move on to number 33, beating out Three Houses by 64 points. And your letter clue is it starts with a C.
A C, huh? All right, we've got some big C's. We've got Castlevania, a whole bunch of them. We got Chrono Trigger, we got Clear Obscure, we got Celeste, we got Crazy Taxi and Crash and Cuphead. I think we're going. Oh, and Cave Story. My gut says to go for a Castlevania. I think it's too early for Chrono Trigger and Expedition. It might be the right time for Crazy Taxi or Crash, but instead I'll go with Cave Story.
All right. At number 33 is not Cave Story. It is a much more recent game, Claire Obscure Expedition 33.
I really thought this would be maybe top 10.
Oh, really? You
Yeah.
thought it would make the top 10?
Yeah, maybe.
I wasn't sure. I know a lot of people are hesitant to put newer games.
Yeah, that's
because
probably
they're worried about that recency bias. Because I haven't finished it yet, but I didn't even realize that Expedition 33 got 33. That's funny.
Oh yeah, that's probably the best place for it then.
Yeah, just so I did not even like put that together. I was just focusing in on that. But yeah, I think there is that aspect because like, do you really feel that way? Is it just the recency of like, man, that was such a high for me to go through, that sort of thing? But I think this will be held up. Obviously, it's in terms of what's happening right now. It's got a ton of nominations for the Game Awards and beyond. But I think this feels like a game that's going to hold up over time, and people come back to and look at as just a fantastically put together game.
I mean, nothing can age. They've gone for a timeless genre, being a turn-based RPG. But they've also got really great elements in there, which other games have done before. Like, it's quite Paper Mario-like in its combat. But the parrying system, like whether you choose the dodge or parry, like you get that risk reward. If you parry, you deal huge damage, but it's also very tricky. So if you try and parry every move, you actually got a very difficult game ahead of you. But it's very rewarding to try those battles again and again and pull off those parries and learn the timing.
I parry. I only parry because I like that damage. And that satisfaction of actually parrying those really long combos.
It makes it a really hard game, but it's so satisfying to do that. Yeah. But it's also got some of the best acting. Like, I was saying this about Hades, but I think it's true. There's some of the best acting we've ever had. Those two games, like some of the pinnacle of all video game performances. And like, you're seeing at the Game Awards in the performance category, like Expedition takes up like 60% of the nominations. But everyone's brilliant. Jennifer English is just out of this world good. Ben Starr's great. Charlie Cox is great. The entire cast is remarkably well done.
There's an interaction between two characters that made me laugh my butt off, and it's all in the delivery of how, because it's just it's just a quick back and forth between. I don't want to say character name because it's
Ben Starr's character though, right? And
it's between V and M.
Yeah,
those characters.
I know what you mean.
About how he's convincing M to do something.
Yeah,
and the back and forth between them is so fantastic. Made me laugh so hard. One of my biggest laughs I think I've ever had in a game, and it's all in that delivery. And it's just it's amazing vistas to see. And great combat to go through. The story constantly keeps you interested in what's going on. I am to put where I'm at, because I'm currently playing through this game as well. I defeated. This will have no context. This doesn't feel like a spoiler because you will have no idea what I'm referring to if you've not played the game. I've defeated the first Axon. So that's where I'm at.
Natalie says the water level secondary is stunning. There's so many just abstract designs of like broken parts of the world floating around you, and it's a painting come to life in many ways. But what was also quite remarkable is like technically it's not best in class. The hair's very dithered. The image quality isn't great. But the art holds
the lip
well.
syncing is pretty off sometimes.
Yeah, because the way they achieve that is like the voice actors are basically dubbing. Because all the motion capture artists had their own performances, and then the actors are coming in to put their voice on top of them. So it's almost like dubbing an anime. So that's why it's even more impressive that it's so good, though. Like, how do you have a performance that good when you're trying to stick to the timings of another actor? It's ridiculous how they pulled it off. And they did it on a really small budget with a really small crew. In a time where everyone's laying off all the developers and all the talent making a game, it's just crazy how a smaller studio come out and can give us one of the best games ever, while defying what everyone else is doing.
Yeah, it's nice to see. It's nice to see. But we do have to keep moving because there's only unfortunately, we only have so much time for our recording session. So let's move on to number 32, Play Expedition 33. It really do not let the fact that it got so many rewards feel like, oh, it's just overhyped. Go into it fresh. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. Anyway, number 32, what beat out Expedition 33 by 63 points? Begins with an S.
Oh, back to the supers, huh?
Yep.
All right. I'm going to go with Super Smash Bros. Melee.
All right. At number 32. Well, you were right that it was a super, not Smash.
Okay.
It's Super Mario World.
Okay. Yeah, there's too many Marios. Yeah, and this is another just timeless one, though. And I think at this point, Mario had done everything he could do. He established himself, he redefined himself, and then he just refined himself with the world. And the mechanics were so wonderful. The world design was more interesting. Like you got to go like on a globe-trotting adventure around different biomes of the world. It made Mario really cool and interesting and fun and fast. It had all these secrets, like going through the Forest of Illusion and all these other really great parts that made the overworld feel like a character too. But then you fast forward all these years later, and what's Mario done since then mechanically? Like he's got a wall jump, but there's not much more because the world just made it as good as it could be, and it didn't really need to get any better than that.
Not really. And I think what World accomplishes that you don't really think about at the time is just the sense of exploration. There's so much to explore. The levels are, not especially long in most cases, but you're returning to them because, hey, I hit this block and I remember this place had a green block here and I can do this. And oh, wait, there's a secret exit here so I can go find, Star Road. And if I do all of Star Road, I get the tubular levels and all that. And just finding every level, finding every exit. It really just builds up for you. And they found a way to kind of mix up the boss fights for the Koopalings because they were mostly the same when it came to them in Super Mario Bros. 3. They're not that different, but I do remember being kind of mind blown the first time I played. I forget which Koopaling was first, but you're on the tilting thing and it's not about hitting him 3 times. You have to knock him off into the lava. Yeah. Which was, as a kid, you're like, wait, what? Yeah. This is a little ridiculous.
But back to the secret thing a moment. No other Mario game has done it as well since. Like the new Super Mario Brothers games sometimes have like a hidden warp level, or you look at the world map and you can see sometimes it goes off in 2 directions, so clearly there's a hidden area. World didn't really do that though. World didn't just show you like, hey, this level's gonna have a secret section. You had to actually go out of your way and find it, which made it feel organic. And they've never done that again. There's never been a case where they've replicated that to the same ideology.
Nope. It is weird to think that this game did not make the top 25 because it's usually so high up in terms of rankings. But it's very interesting that Mario World did not quite make it there.
It is interesting,
but it's still fantastic. No denying that. But I think it's showing we're kind of seeing maybe examples of how time is changing opinions. On things.
Definitely.
Because like 10, 20 years ago, World would probably be top 10 easily.
Yeah. So, but as Press Plays Jason says, there's probably a lot more Mario to come.
We'll see. Let's get to number 31, beating out Super Mario World by 16 points. It begins with a D.
D. All right. Okay. Okay. I'm going to go with Dragon Quest XI's.
All right. At 31, it is not Dragon Quest XI's. Instead, it's the original Dark Souls.
Oh, okay. Which is also just magnificent. This just managed to perfect the interconnected world idea. You walk around, everything is just contextually knit together, and it all makes sense. Like a lot of video games sort of cheat their world location. This one feels like actually walking around without empty space, though. It's all just so well crafted, and it's full of so many secrets and great ideas. But it also just does everything Demon's Souls did great. It's about walking around these worlds, finding the secrets, defeating the bosses, and it's also about connections and vibes. It's about finding a random stranger in a summon and beating a level with them. You're never going to see that stranger again, but you had that sort of connected experience where you took down a boss together that you were struggling with. A lot of people say these games are too hard. I think the options to get past them are there. The tools are there. You can summon for another person. You can get an NPC to help you. You can get a better weapon. You can level up. All those tools are there at your disposal. And then when you finally defeat something that has been giving you a lot of trouble, there's no better feeling. And it's one of my favorite of the FromSoft games. My list is like Dark Souls 1 and Bloodborne and Elden Ring. Those are like the three pinnacle ones for me. And yeah, Dark Souls 1 holds up so very well.
Massively influential game. Really, just like Demon Souls, you got the foot in the door. Dark Souls blew it open.
Exactly.
There's no other way to put that. And it's they've just been refining what they've done ever since with different ideas and different worlds, and it's been really impressive to see because FromSoft felt like such a niche company before this point.
They were,
and all of a sudden now they're one of the biggest out there.
Yeah. Now when a FromSoft game is there, you expect it to sell millions and millions. And that would have been a joke before Dark Souls.
Yeah, it would have. Yeah, it would have. But unfortunately, we got to keep moving on, so we can't focus too much time to Dark Souls. But it is, excellent. But let's go ahead and get to our number 30 game of all time, beating out Dark Souls by 82 points.
Mm-hmm.
And it begins with an X.
An X? Can there be that many X's? Nope, they're all Xenoblade.
No, you got X-Men in there.
We got X-Men Arcade. We've got, otherwise we've got Xenoblade 1, 2, 3, X, and Gears. No Saga. Oh, no. I'm going to go with Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
At number 30, Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Damn it. God, though. Two gets bullied. It gets picked on as being like the weird one in the series. And yeah, it can be weird at points, but it's also so loving. There's a lot of care in this one. There's a lot of connections. The party members feel tighter than a lot of games in the rest of the games in the series. The music is phenomenal. And I love all the Titans as well, because they're like the different continents you go back and forth between, and their cultures are different, their accents are different. Some places have like Welsh-speaking accents, other ones have more northern. They give you such a great window into the world building they have there, and it tells its own story in a really pure way, but then gets to a point where it's able to also enhance the first game, which it didn't even feel connected to for the majority of it, and it pulls it off in a way that very few other games can. What can you say? There's maybe there are problems. Maybe the blade system with its gacha system isn't the best way to do it. But,
and its combat system isn't the best explained. Like there are issues to be sure that make it not as beloved, but it's something special for me because it hits some of those just emotional moments so well with characters and story elements, and having played the first to go to the second one. But again, to have that hat trick of having people that started with 2 and then went back to 1 and still have the same experience of how the game, of what they do, is a really impressive trick. That is really hard to pull off. But man, I will never forget my final 30 hours with the game, where it just all of a sudden I was on that path to the end and I was just locked in. Yeah. It's I had to see what happened next.
Yeah. And they gave it that anime aesthetic too, which made the faces really full of personality and expression. And they also went in the anime aesthetic of let's get a little sneak peek. That kind of thing is in there. But it's not as common as social media might make you think.
No. And you'll get some odd character designs here and there, but it's not that bad. It's nothing. You have some examples, but it's not excessive, I guess is the best way to put it. So it's a minor thing that honestly didn't pull me out whatsoever. So yeah. There we go. Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I'd love to spend more time with each of these games, but it's still wonderful. But we got to keep moving on. So let's get to our number 29 game, beating out Xenoblade Chronicles 2 by 46 points. And you're starting with the letter O.
Oh, all right. Scrolling to the letter is the hardest part of so many games. All right, we got Okami, we got Ori, we got Outrun, and Overwatch, and Octopath Traveler 2. Out of all of those, it'd be cool if maybe Okami. It'd be cool if Octopath 2 got it, but I don't think it will. So I'm actually going to go with Ori and the Blind Forest, but my backup is Okami.
All right. At number 29, Outer Wilds.
I didn't even see that here. Oh yeah, it's right there. Man, that's cool.
Too quick of a glance on this one.
Yeah.
This is a game you just lose yourself in. I personally think I honestly the funny thing is I probably wouldn't have played it if I didn't stream it, but if I feel like I would have had a better experience with it if I didn't stream it. It's a weird thing there where you want to lose yourself in this game.
Yeah, like you don't want to be entertaining other people while you play it. Really, it's one of those you just lose yourself and let it take you kind of games.
Absolutely, because you could feel something special there, but I'm also like, oh, I didn't make progress this run, so I feel frustrated, or what I do wrong here. Like it really is just about solving the what's going on in this world and seeing how it what the mysteries of this universe is. I don't want to say more beyond that, but it is it really is something special.
Yeah, this is definitely one where the less is said, the better. Just trust us, try it.
Yeah, I guess that's all we really need to say.
Yeah.
Beyond that, just try it. That's really all we can say. If you haven't played it yet, there's a good reason it made number 29. So there you go. Let's get to number 28, beating out Outer Wilds by 37 points, excuse me. And it begins with the letter T, which is not going to help you in the slightest.
God, we haven't had any T's yet, have we? But it's all the does. It's the many,
you
many
get a lot of
does
and a lot of other things. T is always rough.
Yeah, we had Twilight Princess earlier, I suppose. I don't think there are T's in there which could make it like The Witcher 3 or The World Ends With You, maybe. There's also The Last of Us, but I think it's probably one of the Zeldas, one of the many, many Zeldas that made it. I will say that this is The Legend of Zelda, A Link Between Worlds.
All right. At number 28, well, you're right about Zelda, not about Link Between Worlds. At number 28, it is The Legend of Zelda, The Wind Waker. Okay.
Yeah, this is a really interesting pick, actually, because it's one of the most stylish and memorable Zeldas. I think critically, if you take like a critical eye at Wind Waker, the dungeon design isn't great. Like it's fine. Clearly, in terms of pacing, it's clearly missing something. Like you get towards the end of the game, and it feels like more dungeons should be there. But the ones that are actually there, there's some cool mechanics in them, but they're not best in class for the series. But the sailing and the islands and the characters and the music, everything else is so memorable that stuff doesn't even really matter that much.
No.
It just has such a personality, and it's one of the most memorable video games I've ever played. Even if I think it's not like perfection, it's so well made.
You almost want a full remake of this game so they can do better with the dungeons. Because I think if they manage that pacing a little bit better with the dungeons, I think it really could be just considered the absolute best in class. But as it is still fantastic. Still my favorite of the Zeldas. It's just something special about it. I think it's the characters, the way they act, the way they react. There's I still very significantly remember Link getting launched in the barrel and finding that absolutely hilarious.
Yeah.
That they were going this way. Like that one scene sold me on this art style so much. And then that final fight with Ganondorf, I think, is still one of the best in the series.
Oh yeah, it's one of the greatest video game moments ever. Like you take Ganondorf, who used to just be big evil guy. There was nothing really to it. He wants the Triforce. He's gonna take over the world. He's a human there. He feels grounded, almost regretful, but too far gone. And it's it's really interesting characterization in a game that's otherwise quite light and good-willed, and it gives you this just incredible characterization of Ganon, and they've never gotten better than that.
They really haven't, because it's just this interesting dichotomy of desperately hanging on to the past compared to looking to the future.
Yeah.
And it's something I wish they would kind of explore more, because it's that's a very interesting dynamic, especially with a world like Zelda. And, I don't know if they can pull it off again, but man, it is just something special there. I wish the dungeons were better, but I love exploring this world. Love going to all the individual islands and seeing what I can discover. It's just a good time. I don't know. It really stuck out to me, but it also might have a bit to do about this being the first Zelda I bought personally. Ocarina of Time was the first one I played. This was the first one that was mine.
Yeah. I also love how it almost demands your time. Like you don't just you get fast travel later on, but a lot of the time when you're sailing, you've just got to sort of put the controller down, take in the music, take in the changing hues as time of day shifts, and just sail. It takes a lot for a game to ask that of you, and I think they pulled it off. They gave you like the swift sail in HD, but I think the experience of just sailing from one side of the world to another is something you should have, and it's something you shouldn't just bypass every playthrough. At least that first playthrough, I think it's important to have that experience.
Yeah, I think so. I in retrospect, I appreciate the swift sail, but in retrospect, I don't remember myself being annoyed by a lot of the stuff people have mentioned, like like Tingle or the sail. I just lost myself in that world. So I appreciate that I could do that.
Yeah.
Still absolutely worth playing. And hey, if you have NSO, it's right there.
Exactly.
So there we go. All right. Let's go ahead and get to number 27, beating out The Wind Waker by 117 points.
Massive gap.
Yep. And it begins with the letter H.
H. Have we had an H? Oh, we have had an H, yeah. Let's see. So that was... Okay, so we've had Hades. We still got Half-Life and Halo. And maybe Hollow Knight. Actually, very, very much maybe Hollow Knight. You know what? I'm going to go with Halo 3 again. I think Half-Life 2 and Hollow Knight are probably further. But Halo 3 is also one of the greats. But I'll stick with that.
All right. At number 27, Hollow Knight Silksong.
Damn, all right. I am happy Halo 3's higher. I just didn't have the faith it would be. Hollow Knight Silksong, though, what a game that was. I don't think there's really ever been such a long time between iterative sequels. Because Silksong doesn't redefine anything. It's very much more Hollow Knight. And it's almost like a Super Mario Brothers 2, where it trusts that you've already played Hollow Knight. And so it has the leeway to be really difficult. Like this is it feels way harder than the original. As like a Hollow Knight veteran, it feels almost good to be challenged in that way. It can go too far at times, but it gives you just this incredible world, amazing sound design, really difficult bosses. And it felt like the game I needed at the point where it came out, where I needed a game to just challenge me. And this does it on a level where it just feels good to overcome all those micro challenges every time. And it's simply wonderful. It's huge, but it's simply wonderful.
Oh, it's so massive. Yeah. Like I'm like I said, I'm close to the end of Act 2. I could finish Act 2 anytime I want, but I have this thing where I want to finish all the side quests before I go complete the act. That's what I did with Act 1. So I'm like, side quests keep popping up. I'm like, oh my gosh, how is there still so much? And while I'm doing those side quests, I'm finding areas that I completely missed the first time around, that just kind of blow me away that I somehow don't have that. So yeah, just to see it just continually get bigger and bigger and more. It's like, I almost wonder if it's too much at times, but I've enjoyed myself the entire way through, and there is some legit challenges in there.
There are.
Like it wasn't too bad at first, I thought, but more recently, I'm definitely finding some truly difficult bosses. In fact, it's not even a boss that gave me my biggest challenge. The thing I got stuck on the most was a gauntlet, where it's a set of guys, and then a big guy. And
Yeah.
you think after the big guy it'll be done. And no, it just gets you another set of the other guys, and then two big guys at the end. And I could get that far sometimes, and I could just not get past that. It took me like two or 3 hours to finally beat that because it was just that tough.
Man, yeah.
And then I get to a boss like the chef that is tossing out poison stuff.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he sucked as well. Like just to take one, but you do feel really satisfied completing those moments. So it's like, oh my gosh.
Movie Muffin was saying that, according to Jason Schreier's interview, this wasn't because of development issues that it was delayed for so long. It's just they had almost infinite money coming in from the first Hollow Knight, and decided they'd put it all back into the sequel. And I think they did everything they wanted to do. They made this absolutely huge game. There's not much more you can do with Hollow Knight after this one. They just put all their ideas in, years and years of ideas, and just executed a huge world, one that you do have to set time aside to do. But let that time just be taken away. Just take it easy, take it slow, and I think you're going to be in for one of the most memorable games ever.
Yeah, and I love how it has different ways of allowing you to have Hornet play.
Yeah.
You have different play styles, and it's mostly because of the things I can equip because of it. But I found myself sticking with Wanderer, not because it plays the closest to the original Hollow Knight, but just because I like having 3 things in particular: my map marker, my thing that attracts the beads, and my thing that there's one more. It makes me so I don't push back when I hit an enemy.
Yeah.
I like having those 3. I'd love to try out the other ones, but I like having those 3 for my exploration, so I just stick with that. So yeah, I'm looking forward to playing more. I want to beat it before the end of this year because I want to start playing Hades 2, and I have Metroid Prime 4 coming, but loving Soul Song. But yeah, it's time to get to our final game of this poll of this video. Our number 26 game of all time, beating out Soak Song by 79 points.
All right, let's end on a good one. What letter are we dealing with?
It begins with the letter B.
B. Okay, so you have some juggernauts in B. Bloodborne, I think, is probably as big as we get. We got some Bombermans, we got Blinks, we also got Bioshock and Beyond Good and Evil and Bayonetta and Batman. I think we're probably saving Bloodborne for at least the teens and maybe the top 10. So I'm going to go with Batman Arkham Asylum.
All right. At number 26. Well, John, I think you're going to be a little disappointed. It's Bloodborne.
It's Bloodborne. Okay.
It's Bloodborne at number 26.
I think FromSoft have spread themselves out far with Dark Souls and Elden Ring and Bloodborne, that you probably won't put all of them on one list. So I think that's understandable. Bloodborne, though, oh man, this made me love the Souls formula. I dabbled in all the other games, but never truly got invested until Bloodborne, and then went back and played everything else. But this just captures the perfect aesthetic for me. That sort of gothic, Victorian kind of style, Lovecraftian. You've got these crazy designs, these monsters that to take down, and I think it's visually just one of the coolest artistic games I've ever seen in my life. And I also love how offensive it is, where you don't have a shield in this game. So to not take damage, you've got to actually avoid things. You've got to roll away from them. Use your invincibility frames, and if you do get hit, you got to hit them back to gain that health you've lost. So it's a game about taking risks. It's meant to be fast. It's meant to be about just pushing yourself further. And it's my favorite of the FromSoft games, partly because of its style, but very much also because of that combat system, which is very familiar, but has a different pacing to it.
It's a killer aesthetic, pure and simple. Like I love the look of it and the way that it evolves from basic like werewolves and crazed villagers to the crazy crap you fight at the end of the game. Is so naturally done and so compellingly done. Just a blast to play through from beginning to end. It's still the only Soulsborne game I played the entire way through. But it's such a delight. It was I love it. I'm with everybody else that I wish there was a Bloodborne 2. We'll have to see how that pseudo sequel for the Switch 2 turns out. Dust Bloods.
Yeah.
But aesthetically, like it is straight down my alley. Having that Castlevania-esque vibe. I think it's just a lot of fun and some really interesting lore and how everything is sort of doled out to you. So I think it's just straight up great.
It's very interesting lore, yeah. Like, but all the Souls games don't really directly tell you the story. Like, sometimes there's a little cutscene, but for the most part, it's just told through little creeps rambling at you. But Bloodborne has really good characters. And the more you get invested, and watch like Varty's videos on YouTube, they're really good. You see this sort of untold story that's told through, weapon descriptions or just looking at parts of the world and piecing it together yourself. It's like an interactive story in a way. But Bloodborne's got some really cool moments. Like there's a part where you can find like the central hub of the game within the world. And so you're asking questions about like what happened here, what is the doll, what is all this stuff. And there's all those secret endings as well. It's a game that thrives in its mystery and shared experiences. Like you'll go online and you'll talk about all these secret things you found, and then that'll create this community building, master knowledge of this world and everything else is there. It just feels good to do everything and get invested. And it's my favorite FromSoft game. Elden Ring's probably going to be here, and that's also fantastic for different reasons. But yeah, Bloodborne's my personal favorite.
Nice, yeah. Going through this, our 50 to 26 so far, it's why I wanted to cover it as well, because there are some amazing games on here. Let's be honest. Like, there is not a dud in this batch. These are all fantastic games that you should absolutely play. And, I think I that's why I wanted to cover it, to really showcase it. But, of course, we still have many more to go. As we next time, we'll be covering our top 25 and having something special for that. To give a little bit of a preview, though, the difference between number 25 and Bloodborne is 64 points.
Whoa, okay.
So is again very close in a lot of these cases.
Yeah.
And I at least looking through 26 to 50, I think we have a pretty decent mix where it's not just like, obviously there's a lot of Nintendo, but it's not inundated with Nintendo.
Exactly. It's better than I thought it would be. And as Derek was touching on earlier, every single game talked about here is multiple people's favorite game of all time. So just because something is number 50 doesn't mean it's like less or anything. It's just that's still in someone's top 10, in multiple people's top 10. So it's really cool to see even further. We even discussed doing a top 100 at one point, but
yeah,
that would go on forever.
Yeah, we'd be here a while. So I mean, there's a lot to talk about. I mean, it's still, again, to be number 50 out of 500. You're still in the top 10%.
To be in the top 500 is still, considering how many games are in this industry, that's still a list of must plays, every single one of them.
Yeah, exactly. So it'll be very interesting to see how this all comes about and see what the top 25 actually is next week. But for now, that'll cover it. Let us know what you think of all these results in the comments below. And thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing to GVG, hitting the like button and ringing that bell. We also have our Patreon at patreon.com/GVGaming with plenty of extra perks. So till next time for the final video on the greatest games of all time. Bye.